Michael.
Okay, great, perfect.
Many of the issues for international students are unique to them, whether it's for visas or relocation issues. Sometimes it's student insurance information, and all of that information is available through USF World. And so I would encourage the international students to take a look at that. And by the way, the very last slide of this, there's only 3, the very last slide has a link to the slideshow. So if you grab that link, put it up in your browser, you ought to be able to see all of this easily. The next link that's under academic program information, that is basically, that's a second group of people that are there to help you with very specific issues. So when you go into this link, it's into the USF graduate catalog. This link takes you to a listing of all of the academic programs, master's and doctorate, that USF offers, with a list of contact folks. For instance, there's a staff member and there's an advisor for every single graduate program. So if you have questions that are unique to your program, meaning what should I sign up for next semester? What's the sequencing of events? Do I need to do a thesis for my master's program, or can I do a project? Those are the folks that can answer those questions for you. They're also the folks that are on campus to help you with any kind of paperwork that you need to do. For instance, if you were to have to take a leave of absence, or if you're doing a drop ad in your classes, those are your program advisors and program staff to help you. I've also included in here, because we have a shorter period of time than we've had in orientations past, the third link is basically a link to the program that we did in the fall. And the reason I did that is because there's a video. You can look at it through YouTube and you can watch the entire thing, and it goes into much more detail than we can offer here this evening. Also, it includes an interactive, the next link is an interactive presentation that you can hold on to for the entire semester, and it'll tell you what to be doing in the first week, what to be doing throughout the semester, what to do before the semester ends. Probably the most important one on here for you right now, where you are in your study as a new student, is the MyUSF portal. And there's a lot of different things that you can do with that. I'm going to pull that up in a second. Then you see obviously financial aid, graduate studies. Monday morning is another opportunity for a Q&A. It's breakfast with the deans. There's a link to that. It's also in person on the USF Tampa campus. And then all of the events for Week of Welcome, which start next week. So if we can go on to the next slide, Mike. Okay, so this basically is a very quick checklist to let you know those kinds of things that you need to be considering right now. And that is, do you need to get your student ID? Do you need to get a parking permit? If you're not going to go for a semester parking permit or an annual parking permit, there are machines on campus that you can pay for daily permits. There's also you need to take care of your financial aid, or if you're an assistantship, make sure that you have all of those ducks in a row. What I mean by that is financial aid is you need to make sure that if you are a Florida resident, for instance, that your tuition, that you are deferred, you don't have to pay your bill this coming Friday. Also, if in fact you are, I guess what I'm going to say here is I'm going to go to the next slide, Michael, because I'm going to show you that you can do all of this through one easy place, and that's MyUSF. So once you have established your MyUSF portal with using your net ID, you go in there and you're able to see nearly everything that has to do with your student accounts. You'd be able to register for your classes, drop and add classes. You'll know whether or not what your standing is for financial aid. That's how they send you messages, is through they call it your OASIS account. It also, you can go into look at your tuition and fees that are due, your grades once they post, your schedule. And then the other thing that I wanted to remind people about, graduate students often make really good graduate students make really good use of the USF libraries. They are some of the most phenomenal people, the librarians. It's not just the digital resources, it's not just the physical resources, it's the human resources at the libraries that are so important. And I sometimes think that as an undergrad, you miss the opportunity. And so start graduate school off with getting to know the librarian that is assigned to your very specific academic program. We have librarians that are for the College of Education. We have librarians that are for psychology. We have librarians for history. So take advantage of these librarians, because once you go in and talk to them, or you have a conversation with them and they know what it is that you're looking to do for a research paper or term paper, they're the ones that can help you cut down on an awful lot of time in searching for proper resources. They can also help you with the proper way to cite your sources and those kinds of things. So make sure that you introduce yourself to your academic disciplines librarian. And then the last place I wanted to tell you about very quickly before we open for questions is Canvas. Canvas is the application. You can access it through the MyUSF, but it's the application that you use to search out your coursework. It's where you'll find your the syllabi for your courses. It's where your professor will provide information for you on when things are due. It's also a place where you're able to very easily email the professor or email other students in your course. So Canvas you'll be using quite frequently. Also, someone's put in the chat, and I agree wholeheartedly, you want to make sure that you do have your student ID, because you will be asked for it at various times and in various places. You'll need it. That's how you check out books out of the library or sources. So super quick, Mike, we go on to the final slide. So here is the link to this presentation so that you didn't have to take any notes. You didn't have to worry about it. I'm going through it so very quickly so that we can have 15 full minutes for questions. And so go ahead and take this down, use it, and take your time going through each of those links, and you won't have any problem. During this first week, the most important thing you need to do is make sure that you're registered. Make sure that, and if you're having trouble with registration, that you know why. It could be an immunization hold, in which case you need to go to Student Health Services. It could be an admissions hold. You should go to graduate admissions for that. So there's all kinds of various things that could be a cashier's hold. Maybe you were a student with us in the past and you have some balances due. If you're unable to register, those are the three main reasons why. Fourth reason would be is you're signing up for a course that requires a permit from your college or your program and department, which is why it's important to know who those staff members and faculty members are to advise you on that. So if I were in your shoes, the first place I would go would be to that advisor list, the second link on that first page. So let's open it up for questions. Dr. Stone and I are here, and we'll do whatever we can. And if you put something in the chat, Michael's also going to try to help answer, so we can get as many done as possible. Sorry for the quick presentation, but I want to make sure that you get your questions in.
Let me ask somebody on the that works on the Tampa campus. There's a question about if you work during the week, can you get an ID on the weekend? Is the Student Services office is open on the weekend?
As far as I know, no. The answer is no. The ID office is open Monday through Friday, but I can't check and verify that. But I did put a link in the chat for the ID office. You can actually upload a picture for your student ID yourself and request the application for the ID online, and then pick it up later. So you don't physically have to necessarily come here to to apply for your student ID, but you may have to come pick it up. And there, on that link, there are some examples of the type of pictures that they're looking for that you can upload for your ID. Also, if you're on the Tampa campus, the ID office is located in the Student Service Building, which is directly behind the building that the graduate office, the graduate center is located. It's in the John Johnny Grace Allen building is where we're located, and the student service building is behind us.
I do know that for the ID, they have extended hours for the first week of classes.
Right.
So
They
they're
are
usually
extended
open until 6 for the first week of classes. I also, someone is asking that they saw a building labeled graduate school. Well, and they asked, what does the graduate school do? We're all representatives from the graduate school. And what we do is everything from helping to introduce prospective students to USF and getting you all the way through to graduation with your degree. Everything that falls in between. But we're a little bit more behind the scenes. It's at the graduate level, it's not like undergrad where you were assigned a specific advisor and everybody went to all the same classes together and all. It's different in that it's a little more self-driven, very program-driven. And what I mean by program-driven is if you're a psychology student, it's up to the psychology department, specifically the master's or the doctoral programs. And so we're the group that does the things behind the scenes. We work and advocate both on behalf of the graduate students, but also on behalf of the faculty and staff who are supporting you in the programs. So we're there working through policy issues and fixing problems with your student records and those kinds of things. And in this case, for instance, putting on events and trying to get you acclimated. So that's what graduate school does. And there's one of us in each, there's a facility with staff from graduate studies in each of the 3 campuses.
So there are 2 or 3 questions about bills, about if you have an error on your bill, or if you have a GI bill and you have an unpaid balance, or something about billing. I know on our campus they would go directly to the business office. Is that the same on the other 2 campuses?
They call it the cashier's office in St. Petersburg. I believe they do in Tampa as well, right, Gary?
It's student accounts office.
Student accounts?
Student accounts, yes.
Okay, and so, but if it's a GA bill problem, you also may want to reach out to Veteran Services. And there's Veteran Services available no matter what campus you're attending.
Right.
What else do we have?
There's also a question about what a Flipgrid is, which I'm also not familiar with.
I don't either.
Are you saying Flipgrid?
Yeah.
Who asked that question?
Yes.
You can turn your microphone on. I don't know what that is.
Where did you hear that? Whoever's asking the
That
question.
was in the chat somewhere.
Yeah, I know. I
earlier.
saw it. I was going to say where the student that's asking. I wondered where they heard it or what it was.
In one of my classes, I already read all of the syllabuses, and one of them says to use a Flipgrid to create something for an assignment that's due next Thursday, and I was like, I've never heard of a Flipgrid.
Oh,
Looks like it's an app. Looks
I
like it's an
actually
app.
know what Flipgrid is. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, yeah, I'm a teacher. I use Flipgrid with my students.
Okay.
Basically what your teacher would do is post a prompt, either, a written prompt, or they might record themselves, and then you will respond, and you'll see all of your other classmates' responses as well, usually in a video form. So it's really simple. It's all within the website. You just follow the directions there. I think you might have to sign in through Google or Microsoft, something like that, but it's pretty simple. It's easy, and it's a great interactive way to discuss.
Thank you so
I
much. I
was
see
so
several
scared.
people
Thank you.
helped us answer that. That's wonderful. So see,
Yeah.
that's unique to the College of Education, to
Sure.
teaching,
Sorry,
right?
well, have
So,
fun. Good luck.
thank you,
So-
you guys.
So much.
There are several questions about if you have an undergraduate USF ID, do you need a new one? I don't think so.
No, you
still
do
have your
not.
you still have the same U number.
Yeah, as
so-
long as the format is the same, because I know that they changed the formatting of the ID cards, I think about two or 3 years ago. So as long as it's not a different format, I think it should still work and function just as any other ID card would.
I know your UID number stays the same, so that makes sense, but you're right, Michael, they made a change. So if it's been a while, you definitely want to double check. They did make a change just a couple of years ago. 19 years old. Ray says, okay, well, I beat you on that. Mine's 31 years old, but I did have to go get a new one.
I lost
Okay,
mine.
registration error, a time ticket. Okay, so time tickets are generally done. That's an issue that you need to talk to your program advisor, because time tickets for graduate students should have been opened for all graduate students at this point now. Shanita, that's your question I'm answering. Were you? Thank you, Gary. Thank you so much.
Bye, Gary.
Everybody wave to Gary if you can. Or, but at any rate, so yeah, it's Shanita.
Usually that's a registration appointment issue, so the registrar's office actually can help.
I was
them
going to
adjust.
say, but I think Shanita should go through her program's advisor
Yeah,
for that
yeah,
problem, because it could
Yeah.
also be some kind of permit issue. Yes, you can get your ID on any campus. I'm trying to read them. They're going pretty quick. So yeah, Sophia, the answer to your question about having an ID that's in the previous format, will you be charged for it? Probably. I'm just going to be honest with you. Yes. I'm pretty sure that they will. Undergraduate, 5 p.m. Shana is asking that if you're attending classes after 5 p.m., it used to be that you could park anywhere without penalty. Not so much, especially given the fact that they've lost so much parking revenue during COVID, stay at home and virtual classes. So no, that is not something that you can do anymore. You can, however, it depends upon what campus. For instance, in St. Petersburg, sometimes people choose to do street parking and pay city rates as opposed to, but if I were you, I'd be safe. I would just get a single day parking permit that you can get out of the machines that are in the parking lots. If my employer is paying USF directly for my master's, is there a way I can get tuition deferment? That would be a question for the cashier's office or student accounts. There's something that tells me yes, you could. Given the appropriate paperwork, yes, you could, but you only have until Friday, and I want to make sure everybody hears me that. Friday at 5 is when tuition and fees are due, unless you have been given a deferment by federal financial aid. You still need the link for the presentation.
Just drop that in. It's enormous. I am so sorry about that.
I did do a Bitly. Oh, it came up and I see the font is enormous. Okay.
I did not know it was going to do that. Sorry.
So it's basically adobe.ly/3E Z like zebra WQUB Adobe. That should take you to it.
Donna, we have a
Let's see.
question from someone. If I am an online student attached to USF Tampa campus and live in the Tampa Bay area, can I leverage any library at any USF campus?
Yes. Yes, libraries, no matter what campus, are open to students. In fact, most services are open to, so you can come to St. Pete and work out at our gym. You can go to Sarasota and go to get, what can you do in Sarasota? Counseling and career services.
Yeah, let me just put a caveat about the library at Sarasota, because we don't have a full library on our campus. We have a library, it's the Learning Commons, and we have a librarian, and they're able to provide enormous assistance. A physical library with books, though, we share with the New College campus, which is right next door to us, but it's a shared facility. It's not located actually on our campus. So just so you know, if you're wandering around looking for the library, it's over on New College campus.
Okay, and then Dr. Stone, could you answer the question from Daniela? I have a course that isn't published and classes start Monday. Was there a deadline, and what would you suggest that the student do?
I think that you need to contact your advisor, because I don't know what the problem is there. Sometimes they may have been waiting to see if there were enough students, or if they were going to open another section, or it may just be an error. I don't know. Yeah, contact your advisor first thing Monday morning, and they should be able to help you with that.
We had a 2-minute warning here. So for anyone that would like to attend the next session, that is, Kardeem, thank you. Kardeem says it could be because the class starts in February. So if it is a class that starts outside of the normal semester schedule, it may be that it would be a while before it gets posted up there, and you could reach out to the professor via email in that case.
So let me ask.
So for anybody that would like to go on to the next session, I know they're going to be doing some virtual online games and prizes are going to be given out and all of that. But I also want to offer, since we had to do this so very quickly, I wanted to offer that we'll stay on and answer some questions. I will, for sure, stay on and answer some questions that anyone has. And then also don't forget, Monday morning at 9, we'll be available with Associate Dean Dr. Barr for Breakfast with the Deans, and we can continue having these conversations. So there's now it's 6:30. So Marie, if you're still on, would I get penalized if I only paid $5,000 of my tuition? So here's the thing, you will get penalized, because what they'll do is they have an extra $100 fee if you don't pay the entire bill on time. I would most certainly discuss that with the cashiers. What campus are you, Marie? Oh, you're on mute. Hi, Marie. I can hear you
Hi
now.
there. Tampa.
You're on the Tampa campus, so it would be Student Accounts is the name of the group that you need to reach out to. They may have the opportunity to let somebody know special arrangements, those kinds of things. They generally won't drop you if you've paid a significant portion, but I wouldn't let it wait. I would take care of that first thing Monday, okay?
So somebody asked about getting a seat if the course is closed, but you need the course. So again, you need to talk to your advisor, because they can sometimes, if there's a compelling need to add another seat, like if it's required for your major, or it's only offered once a year and it's a required course in your program or something like that, they can get in touch with the proper folks and open up another seat. So again, just work with your advisor on that, because they'll get you where you need to go in terms of registration.
Dr. Stone, I keep asking Dr. Stone questions because she's also a faculty member in criminology at USF in Sarasota, Manatee. But so you think it's better for Michael to reach out to his advisor rather than the course professor?
Yes, because they're telling us that we can't, they don't want us to add people in ourselves. They want it to all go through the registrar's office, and they're trying to, there's some issues around class sizes, and depending on what kind of class and where it is, and there are lots of different, some classes have required faculty student ratios if it's for licensure, or I don't know what course it is, but there are a lot of different things. So they've asked us not to do it ourselves. They've asked us, they'll have to get the faculty members' permission, but they ask us not to do it ourselves. So please just check with your advisor. Okay, and Shanita, you had a question that I was, accepted as a in-person student and then switching to online. So yeah, immunization hold's going to appear there, even if you have switched totally to online. If you continue to, if you have a problem, I have put my email in the chat because I think I can take care of that for you. So if you want to reach out to me Monday after the 9 o'clock session, I'm happy to follow up on that for you. I
I've got a good resource for that.
Here's one. In-person, are in-person classes recorded? No, not generally. So I don't know what we're doing right now around the COVID situation for people who are ill and not able to come to class. We'll get some clarification on that probably Monday. But we've just been told to be understanding for people who may have issues coming to class. But as a rule, we don't record our in-person classes. So there may be some certain circumstances. You might want to check with your professor about that one.
Okay, and I'm seeing some questions about VA benefits. A couple of questions are kind of the same thing, like your loans, VA loans, money hasn't come in yet. Will you be penalized? My gut reaction is no, you shouldn't be. It should be very much the same way as a deferment through financial aid, because basically that's what it is. It's a different kind of financial aid. However, so that you don't have to worry about it, very early in the week, I would make sure to reach out to financial aid and make sure either that, or you might be able to see a note about that in your OASIS account under financial aid notifications.
So here's a question about how do you find out who your advisor is? If you're on the Sarasota Manatee campus, the graduate school advisor is Aaron Reeker. He's the only one we have, but the other two campuses, I don't know about St. Petersburg. On the Tampa campus, your advisor would be located in your department. So you would need to contact your program coordinator to find out who your advisor is if they didn't tell you already.
It's actually
and thank you, Dr. Barr
graduate.
joined us. Dr. Barr is the Associate Dean for Graduate Studies, and she
It's actually on the
confirmed.
grad page. So if you go to www.grad.usf.edu and click on majors, you will see it's like we call them graduate program directors. We don't call them advisors. So you have graduate.
I actually just dropped a
directors.
link to that in the chat.
Perfect.
No, I was thanking you for answering the question about veterans deferrals.
Yeah, the
Thank
veterans
you.
have a deferral for over 10 weeks, so you're good.
Okay. What else do we have? What have we not answered for you guys? So, just to clear up the whole issue of program directors and that kind of thing. So, this is what I was saying before about when you're an undergraduate, there is a common academic advising office that all undergraduate students go to and make appointments with professional advisors. Different in graduate school in that sometimes it's a faculty member, sometimes it's a paid staff member who are responsible for students from the time they begin their program until the time that they earn their degree, and they're knowledgeable about procedures and policies, and they know to reach out to us when they have questions. And so at the graduate level, it is all going to run through, if you look at it this way, your college is up here, and then you have your program, which is here. So your college might be arts and sciences, your program may be conservation biology, your department may also be conservation biology, or they may call it a different type of biology. So there's going to be college, program, department, and it is either a faculty member or a staff member assigned, and it's on the Graduate Studies webpage. It's on that first slide that I showed you. If you go in and access the slideshow under the Office of Graduate Studies under programs, it'll give you both staff and directors that are there to help you with your questions about that specific program that you're in. What else we've got? Anybody else that really needs to ask us a question? Great. Well, listen, everybody, I am so happy you have already started off your graduate education in such a positive way. The fact that you, after such a very long day, joined us to hear more and to ask your questions. We're very, we know that that's going to mean that you're starting off and you're going to be a very successful student. Those that ask the questions are the ones that get through it without much trouble. If you do have problems, you know how to get in touch with us now. And also join us on Monday morning at 9 o'clock for Breakfast with the Deans. I'd like to thank Michael Slattery behind the scenes. Thank you, Michael, for helping us out. I'd like to thank Dr. Oliver, or Mr. Oliver, soon to be Dr. Oliver, who put on the entire orientation, Dr. Barr for being our fearless leader, and my colleague, Dr. Stone. It's always good to work with you, Sandra. So
Thank you,
everybody have a
Donna.
wonderful evening. Have a great semester. Get in touch with us if you need us. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. Good luck.